Now we are going to see a topic on the lightning. Lightning is a common thing which you can visualize during the rainy seasons. The lightning is nothing but electrical discharge. So this we does not know so far. So we'll be having some precautions. While lightning comes, we used to remove the plugs from the switch boxes, and we used to remove the connections from the dish antennas and everywhere. So this is for the production purpose we used to do. So what happens there? It is nothing but electrical charge which passes onto the ground. So in this figure image you can see this the electrical charges. Now we are going to see the topic on lightning. Lightning is a common thing which you can visualize during the rainy seasons. Usually we used to do some precautions during the lightning. We used to remove the connections which comes from the antennas, and we used to remove the connections which comes from the switch boxes. We used to make some safety precautions. Why these precautions we are making is the electrical charge. Lightning is nothing but an electrical discharge which is entering into the earth. So when it falls on the equipment, it causes some serious problems. So this is what you know about the lightning. So in this figure which I have given here, in this image you can see this, the lightning which starts from the cloud and it enters into the earth, and you can see some other strokes which does not enter into the earth, and between the charge and between the today we are going to see a topic on now we are going to discuss the topic on the lightning. Lightning is a common thing which you can visualize during the rainy seasons. Usually we used to do some precautions before lightning starts. While the lightning starts, so we used to remove the connections from the antennas. We used to remove the connections which is connected to the switch boxes, to some sensitive electronic equipments. Why do we do all those things? Because we know that lightning is nothing but some electric discharge which is coming from the clouds or from the sky, which falls on the equipment which is on the earth. So from this image you can see this, it is having some clouds, and the lightning stroke starts from the clouds and enters into the earth. And here are other some strokes which does not enter into the earth, which is associated along with the same cloud. Next, with the next image you can know how this lightning happens. So clouds are nothing but it has some charges. The clouds either may consist of positive charges, or either it may consist of the negative charges. So here you can see that a cloud which contains the positive charges, another cloud which contains the negative charges. So when these two charged, positive charged and negative charged clouds, when they are combined together, a discharge happens. That discharge is called as the electric discharge, and this electric discharge produces a electrical stroke or a flash, or which you call it as a lightning, which falls on the earth. So earth is also having some positive charges. So in this image you can see that between the cloud and between the earth, air acts as a medium, which is a dielectric medium. So when the dielectric medium gradient is less when compared to that of the charges which is discharge which is created by these clouds, the strokes enters into the earth. So this is the common concept. This is the concept of the lightning. So now we can see what is lightning. We are going to see definition wise what is lightning, how the lightning mechanism happens, what is thunder, and what are the different types of strokes which occurs in the lightning, what are the effects of lightning, and these are the topics which we are going to cover here. Lightning, an electric discharge between the cloud and the earth, or even occurs between the clouds or between the cloud centers of the same cloud. This is known as lightning. Lightning is commonly a huge spark. It is an electrical spark which occurs, which happens due to the positive and the negative charges at a high potential. When it exceeds the dielectric strength of the medium, that is air, which is destroyed, the electric charges enters into the neighboring cloud, or enters into the earth, or it may be anywhere on the equipments. So now we can see how the clouds acquire the charges. Normally this lightning occurs during the raining season. Once when the rain starts, you can see that lightning occurs. The warm moist air which starts from the earth moves upwards, and the water droplets which comes, the tiny particles which comes from the cloud, when the comes to the earth, the friction between this moving moist air and between the water droplets, it creates some charges and it builds some charges. So this is how the clouds occur, the charges. So how the clouds are formed? When the water droplets accumulate, either it may have the positive charges or the negative charges, they form the clouds, and the large water droplets create the positive charges and the smaller droplets which creates the negative charges. As I told, lightning is nothing but a discharge which happens due to the charges, positive and the negative charges. Either the lightning can occur, this discharge may occur between the clouds or to the earth, which we see it as a flash, which is called as a lightning. Then what is thunder? Thunder you can visualize, which occurs after the lightning you visualized. Why it takes some time after the lightning is because lightning is an electric discharge which happens. So when this lightning happens, the air gets heated up, and the surrounding air, the friction or the motion between the back and forth, causing the wave motion of the air, which creates a sound which we call it as a thunder. So we cannot say that it is a simple spark. It consists of the kiloamps of power the lightning contains, and this lightning, since this much amount of current gets affects the air, and it produces the heat. So next we are going to see the mechanism of lightning discharge. So here are three mechanisms happens. So first one we are going to see now. So in this image you can see that it is a cloud. It consists of the negative charges, and from one charge per one charge accumulation, the stoke falls, and the stoke, which is called as the steam, that is a leader steamer or the pilot steamer, starts from the cloud towards the earth, which carries the charges. So this is the side streamers and this is the leader steamer. The leader steamer, you can see that it starts from the origination that feeds the enough charges to maintain the gradient at the tip of the leader steamer above the strength of the air. If this gradient is nothing but the strength or a pressure, it can mean anything. So gradient is, if it does not have the enough gradient, the steamer will not reach the earth. So you can see that it is when it is less than 100 amps and its velocity of propagation is 0.05% that of the velocity of light. Luminosity of leader is always very low. Next case you can see here. The steamer continues its journey towards the earth until it makes contact with the earth or some objects on the earth. The leader steamer moves towards the earth. It is accompanied by the points of luminescence which travels and jumps, giving rise to the stepped leaders. You can see here these are some stepped leaders. It may be noted that the stepped leaders have a sufficient luminosity and gives rise to the first visual phenomena of discharge, which you can visualize the lightning. Next, third case is, the third case you can see here, this lightning stoke enters into the earth, and already earth is having some positive charges. Once it entered, again it will return back in the same path as that of the lightning occurs. So once lightning is occurred, once the charges of this particular cloud gets entered into the discharge, and again it won't repeat, and it will originate from the some other portion of the cloud. So these are the three mechanisms, and these are the consolidated some list of points about the lightning discharge. So we usually see it as a single flash, but it is not really as a single flash. It is made up of number of separate strokes. And then initially I have shown an image which consists of the cloud, which consists of the positive charges as well as the negative charges. It has been found that 87% of lightning storms results from negatively charged clouds, and only 13% originates from the positively charged clouds. Then the lightning discharge may have currents in the range of 10 kiloamps to 90 kiloamps. You can see what is the range of the lightning charges. Next, we are going to see the types of lightning strokes. There are two main ways in which lightning may strike the earth. Here we are going to consider only the power systems. So power systems are nothing but it is starting from the generating station till the distribution side. It is called as the power system. So starting from the generators, transformers, overhead lines, substations, towers, everything, it comes in the category of the power system. So basically it is of two types. One is direct stroke, another one as an indirect stroke. In the direct stroke, the lightning discharge is directly from the cloud. It starts its path from the cloud and it enters into the equipment to the earth. It hits some subject or particular equipment. For example, you can take it as an overhead line, you can take it as some transformers in the substations or anything else. So these sudden over voltages which is set up due to the stroke may cause large damages to the equipments, which directly enters into the path and directly enters into the ground. These direct strokes, again it is classified into the two. One is a stroke A, another one as a stroke B. So in this image you can see here a cloud which is having the positive charges, and this is the overhead transmission line, and it has the two supports, and here this is, you can take it as some insulators which is connected to the overhead lines to the support. So in the stroke A, the lightning discharge is from the cloud. You can see that this discharge is from the cloud to the particular equipment, which is we can take here as an overhead line. So when the potential between the cloud and the line exceeds the breakdown, so between the cloud and the overhead line, the medium which is present is when it exceeds the gradient, when it has the more gradient, when it exceeds the dielectric strength of this air, the discharge which falls on the equipment, which is here it has an overhead line. In this figure you can see that it is having the three clouds P, Q and R. P is having the positive charges, and Q is having the negative charges, and R is having the again positive charges. So in the stroke B, the lightning discharge occurs on the overhead line as a result of stroke A between the clouds. When these charges, if the cloud P shifts near to the cloud, so this is positive charge, P is positively charged and Q is negatively charged. So when they are combined together, discharge happens. Now R alone will be present. Now this R suddenly becomes free and then it discharges rapidly to the earth. However, the stroke B completely ignores the height of the object and even strikes the ground. Therefore, it is not possible to provide a protection against the stroke B, but we can give protection against the stroke A. So next is indirect stroke. Indirect stroke results from the electrostatically induced charges. In this figure, you can see that in this image, the clouds are having the positive charges and these negative charges are present on the overhead line. So under the portion of the positive charges of the cloud, only it has the negative charges. So these induced positive charges leak slowly to the earth via the insulators. Then the other areas will be filled with the negative positive charges, and these positive charges will be slowly leaked to the earth. When the cloud discharges to the earth or to the another cloud, the negative charges and the virus totally will be isolated, and it cannot flow quickly to the earth over the insulators. This results in the negative charges rushes over the line in both the directions, which leads to the major, this is the major cause of the surge. Surge is nothing but sudden increase in the voltage or power. So these are some harmful effects of lightning. So lightning, when it falls on the transmission line, it produces the surges, and steep founted voltages will initiate the traveling waves along the lines. So depending upon the parameters of L and C, the traveling waves produced due to the lightning surge will create damages to the insulators and even it wreck the poles. The traveling waves, the overhead lines is again connected with the transformers and the generators. It will cause us the maximum damages to the serious damages to the equipments